Hello and welcome to a new video. In today's video, as I'm sure you can tell, I am going to be drawing 6 fan art characters that you guys suggested. This video was supposed to be a sort of like interim video to say thank you for 40k subscribers on YouTube, which is crazy, by the way. Thank you guys so much. I had no idea that this channel would ever get that far, and the community of you guys here on YouTube and on Instagram is like one of the nicest communities I could have ever hoped for. You guys are the best and so supportive, and you're all so creative as well and have like such amazing tips and ideas to share with me and other people in the comments. So I just wanted to say thank you. But like I said, this was meant to be an interim video because I have a giveaway video that I am still working on. It was meant to be for 30k. It's now gotten to 40k, and we hit 45k just the other day. So I am so sorry that this is getting so delayed, but I promise you there is a giveaway video coming hopefully soon. It is boiling today, so I've got a delicious mango passion fruit smoothie. If I start to sound like I'm dying, it's because my window is closed and the fan is off so that you guys can hear me, and I just finished climbing up a very, very steep hill, so I'm a little tired and hot. But yeah, let's get started on the fan art. So starting off with Ghostface from the Scream movies. He is one of my favourite like villain things in these kinds of films. I really like the Scream films. They are like a comfort film to come back to every now and then, especially over Halloween. So I thought he would be a great one to start with just because he is like a more simpler design. I thought it would get me into the digital drawing. This video is actually shorter. This video in general, I mean, is shorter than I initially planned it to be. You guys suggested so many amazing character ideas. Like, I swear, you guys are like tapped into my brain. Almost every single one of the characters suggested was a character that I like, which made it very hard to choose only 6. So the idea was that I was going to do at least 12, possibly 14, because there were just some extras I wanted to throw in. But this was a lot more work than I initially thought it would be. So I'm splitting it up into 2 videos, especially since this was, like I said, meant to be an interim video, so that I had extra time to work on the giveaway video, and it has actually instead just taken over. So I've decided to just start with 6 in this video. I will do the giveaway video, and then after that I will slowly work on the other characters that were suggested, the other 8 of the 14, because I really, really want to do them, and they are characters that I really like, and I know a few of you are really looking forward to seeing, so I really, really want to do them. So I've had to split it up. And this video is like a long-ish video anyway, so I feel like it makes for better viewing to have it split up, because it is just a full video of speed paints. So yeah, I hope you don't mind. If the character you wanted isn't shown in this video, there's a chance they might be in the next one. So don't worry, don't panic. And I hope you enjoy this video regardless. So with Ghostface, I really love his character. It is, well, their characters, there's so many, but they're always like really, really fun. So I kind of wanted to try and get a little bit of that in this one here. I wanted to try and reflect a little bit of each of the characters I do in their respective speed paint moment. So I tried to put him in a kind of like, oh look at me, I'm endearing pose while stabbing a paper heart that is mysteriously bleeding. For some reason I just wanted to give him some like cute little things floating around him, so this bow and the heart emoji thing. Ultimately, I love how it turned out. I added some lighting to him to just make him more interesting, because the initial drawing of him was very, very simple, so I wanted to just add some lighting that I really like. I really like the red on his sleeves, and I think it's done in a way where you can still tell that the base colour of him is his like dark robes, so I really like how he turned out. So moving on to the second character is someone I just could not resist drawing. You guys know me. You know me so well, actually. I love Arthur Morgan from Red Dead Redemption 2, and as soon as I saw that he was suggested, I had to draw him. Like, how could I not? He is my boy. He's a cowboy, you know, so I had to draw him. He turned out interesting. I really like how his piece turned out overall. I'm quite picky, and I know a lot of you will say not to be so harsh on myself, but I can't help it. I don't think his face looks exactly like him. He is very neat, perhaps bordering anime-ish. Like, I don't know how to describe what the style looks like, but I think like you can kind of, it's him, but it's a pretty version of him. Yeah, I struggle. My style changes very drastically when I draw digitally compared to when I draw traditionally. I haven't yet figured out why. Maybe it's because of the whole like difference in canvas size, like compared to when I'm just drawing in my book, as well as like on digital everything is a lot cleaner, so it's going to look very different, whereas when I'm drawing traditionally I rely on the mistakes and the guidelines. It just like adds to the picture and adds things that I think the picture usually needs. So trying to add it deliberately on a digital medium, it just doesn't come very naturally to me. That being said, drawing digital does have a lot of perks. I make a lot of mistakes over the course of drawing these that are ridiculously easy to fix, just because you have like Control Z, you have the transform lasso tool. It is very fun. They're both respectively different and fun in their own way. So here with Arthur, I wanted to draw him in his normal, I think it's like his default outfit with his blue striped shirt, because he has so many different looks that he could have in that game that I just kind of wanted to stick to something simple. And it's a very good outfit. I do quite like this outfit, so like I didn't mind. And like I was saying, I struggle with the neatness of drawing digitally. There were quite a few moments where I felt everything was looking a bit too smooth. With how I draw, I feel like, I don't know if it's cell shading that if that's what you'd say my style is when it's digital, because honestly I should probably look up what cell shading means. But it's quite neat and like divided into blocks, and with his shirt a bit later it looks a bit, like I said, smooth, but I feel like something, maybe because it is a textured shirt, manages to like remove that problem for me later. And I've forgotten where I was going with this. But as you can see, this picture already is a lot more detailed than the ghost face one. I really wanted him to have all like the colours in his skin, but all of the pictures were meant to keep the same amount of detail as the ghost face one. So I think it's because I got so excited that I was drawing Arthur that I got carried away, and I tried to keep this level of detail across all the pictures, which really contributed to me getting burnt out drawing these and needing to separate them into two videos. So as you can see, one way that I tried to get around how simple it was looking, even though I should have just left it, was I created the blocks of shadow and then I went over the top of them and I added these like gradient colours. Because I'm using Psy and I don't actually like know how to properly use all the tools in Psy, what I did for this is I just locked the layer of shading, and then on a separate layer I went in and added the colour I want added, and then I blurred or blended it within that shape, and it just created these like more depthful shadows, I think. And then I do the same with like the other details on top to make it look like they are changing colour within the shadows. I think that really helped, like I said, with removing some of the smoothness, and I really like how his shirt turned out. It kind of looks like water, but that's not a bad thing. A lot of the characters that I draw today are characters, like I mentioned, that I really like personally. There is a plane outside. It won't go away. I don't know if you can hear it. I feel like it's just looping. I've been sat here waiting for it to go away and it won't go away. Okay, well, I'm just gonna have to continue anyway, so I'm sorry if you can hear the plane. Arthur Morgan, he is a cowboy. Like I mentioned, he's from Red Dead Redemption 2, and he is a character that I really, really love. He has a very depthful story that I think if you have never seen or played Red Dead Redemption 2, you should absolutely go check it out, or find someone who's played it and watch them. You don't have to know anything about the first game to be able to enjoy the second game, so don't worry about like any of that. He is such a well-written character. He has flaws, which is something I really love in made-up characters like this, because people have flaws, but also it just gives you room to do these amazing like character arcs. Similarly to how I find Edward Kenway in Black Flag. I'm going through a Black Flag phase, if you're wondering why I brought that up. It creates a much more interesting character that you can like actually really love, because they feel like a person, and that's how I feel with Arthur Morgan, as well as the fact that he's a cowboy and cowboys are cool. So I was really, really happy to draw this for him and I really, really hope you liked it too. And I tried to do their signatures in how I think they would write it. I thought that added a nice little touch. So yeah, I'm really happy with how he turned out, and I hope you liked it too. So for the third character, I am drawing Coraline. She was actually the fourth character I drew, but I've swapped them around because the last three characters took a very, very long time to draw, that I've actually had to speed them up more so than the first three, so that is why the order is different to how you will see them at the end. For this character, I drew Coraline, who I was really, really excited to draw, because the other ones I would say are, well, they're like more realistic. They're either live action characters or they are supposed to look realistic. So having Coraline, who is like cartoony, although she is stop motion animation, I was really excited to draw because I don't typically draw in this style, and I wanted to see how it would translate. I'm really happy with how she ended up looking, and I could keep her more on the simple side, I think, because she is a simpler design. So I went with her outfit of her starry jumper outfit, because I love that outfit so much, and when the film first came out I was obsessed with it, and me and my mum tried to look for one everywhere, and we found some star things, but this jumper I will always want. It is so iconic in my opinion. I was so excited to draw her. She is a character I really love. I love the Coraline film, and the whole time I was drawing this, all I could think of was, I want to watch the film again now, which I did end up doing, and I loved it so much. It was so good, and it will always hold up so well, probably because it is stop motion. It will never look bad, I don't think. But I was talking to my Patreons, because they got to see these as I was finishing them, and they kind of convinced me to get the book, because I have never read the book before. So I am currently reading the book of Coraline as well, and I won't lie, it is a lot simpler than I expected. I knew from the beginning that it was a book made for children. I was kind of also expecting, because all the reviews for the book itself, like on Amazon and stuff, were saying like how it holds up for adults as well, and I do think it does. It is just on the simpler side, which I was very surprised by, but I am really enjoying regardless. I haven't finished it yet. Maybe by the time this video is out I will have. I guess we'll see. It is really cute so far. It is obviously different to the film because they made a lot of changes for the film. Like, I don't think Wybie is in the book, and then also I think the house itself is in a more lived-in area, whereas in the film it looked like it was in the middle of nowhere. There are going to be lots of changes that I will come across, and I am really excited because I've heard that the book is supposed to be really, really spooky, and I really can't wait because I really love spooky stuff. So I will be keeping everyone updated on my thoughts on the book. If you're curious, I'll probably be doing that over on Instagram. Drawing her was a lot of fun. I tried to give her some level of detail like the others, but not too much, and I really love how it turned out, especially her face. Initially I was like, oh, this does not look it, but then giving her highlights, for it just fixes everything, especially the dot in the eye. That is something that I've started doing like within the last couple years, and I highly recommend it. It gives your characters so much more life. It actually looks like there is something behind their eyes when you do that, so I really like how it turned out. And then drawing the star jumper, again I struggled with a bit because I wanted it to look textured, but it's got some sparkles on it in the film, and that I think is where I made the jumper look a little bit weird, because I did try adding some like little lighter marks that makes her jumper kind of look like it should be underwater instead, because also I gave it loads of different like shadows and like greens and stuff, which I'd later try and tone down a bit, but it does look very watery. And the stars also don't look like they are like actually part of the jumper itself, so I'm not really sure. I'm not great at drawing clothes, especially digitally. Making them look like they're actually textured things is just something I struggle a lot with, so I think it turned out great considering though. I also drew the cat. It was funny, for the life of me I could not remember the cat's name until I realised that I don't think it has a name. It's just called the cat, isn't it? So I don't feel that bad about that anymore. But yeah, I had to add him because he is so iconic in the film. I think he's in the book as well. Yeah, he's on the front cover, so he must be in the book. I'm really not that far through the book, if you're wondering why I don't know about the cat. I loved him in the film. He is voiced by... Who is he voiced by? I love him. Who is he voiced by? The cat. Keith David. I love Keith David. He was also in Mass Effect, wasn't he? He voiced Anderson, or whatever his name is. Mass Effect? Yes. No? Yeah, Captain David Anderson. He has such an iconic voice, and he just made the cat so endearing. No, that's the wrong word, but I was endeared to him. I loved him. I thought he might even be my favourite character in the film, at least. I'm really excited to see what he's like in the book. We shall see. So I had to include him, and I kept him my more simple style, kind of similar to how I've been drawing the Pokemon, with just the dashes for the eyes, and I just think it really added to the piece, and it made up for the amount of detail that isn't in this one compared to the other ones. And yeah, I'm really happy with how it turned out. She's got her dragonfly and the seeing stone, or whatever you want to call it, and yeah. So for the next one, one of you suggested Marco from Pacific Rim, and I got so excited because I am a huge Pacific Rim fan. A Pacific Rim fan. If you didn't know, I adore Marco. She is so sweet, and I just really love her character in the film and her relationship with Riley. So I was really happy to see her suggested instead of like Riley or whatever, because I feel like I personally don't see a lot of art of her. I also don't draw enough of her, and I really should, because she's so adorable. But yeah, I wanted to draw her in her suit for when she's ready to get in one of the Jaegers. By the way, if you don't know anything about the film, the Jaegers are these like giant mech robots that are piloted by humans, and the whole reason they were created was to fight kaiju, which are giant monsters basically that have been appearing in the ocean, and the Jaegers are used to stop them because they want to like cause havoc on the earth. I don't want to say too much because if you watch the film you'll find out more, but it's really cool, and if you like mechs you should absolutely check it out because the designs of the mechs are so cool. Don't watch the second one. I think a lot of us in the fandom agree that the second one just doesn't exist, so maybe don't watch it. I wanted her in her suit for when she gets in the Jaeger because I just thought it would look really cool. It really suits her, and then having like a lot of her outfit or how she looks in this image be dark, I think it's like it makes a nice contrast because she has these like blue streaks in her hair, and I just thought it might draw attention to that, although I do add a lot of highlights to the suit later because I really wanted the suit to look shiny like it's meant to. She is the first one that I add way extra detail to than I meant to, and she took longer than the previous 3 you saw. I think she took about 2.5 to 3 hours to do, which I was not expecting, and most of that is on the suit because I don't do suits. I don't know how to draw them, so drawing the suit itself took a long time, and then trying to make it shiny and have reflections and then different materials, it was just really difficult. But I thought it would be cool to have her in the suit because she is a soldier just like the others, and it kind of, I feel, suits her personality to have her standing like ready for duty. So that, yeah, I went with that. Because a lot of her suit is so dark, I decided to make her helmet have its visor be yellow. Naturally, I don't think it is. It only looks yellow when she has the lights on in her helmet, so I understand that that's kind of wrong. But we can just like pretend that she forgot to turn them off or something, but because I think the picture needed the contrast because it was all looking very samey and very dark, and it just needed something else, and I think it worked because there are quite a few blues and already some oranges that I put in this. It just makes it very cohesive, I think, so I'm very happy with adding that. And it was fun trying to make it look like glass, so it was an experiment. So for each of the characters, I'd been trying to give them stylized backgrounds that are relevant to the thing that they come from and the character themselves. So for her, I didn't know what to do initially. As you can see, I left it orange, but I gave it a blue gradient that kind of just, it made me think of the ocean, which is fitting because a lot of the film is kind of set at a thing, what is it called, a facility on the ocean in Hong Kong, and I thought it would be really cool to have a shadow of their Jaeger Gypsy Danger, I think it's called, in the background being airlifted like it is in the film. And I think it just creates a really interesting character background for her, and I really like how it turned out. And as you probably noticed on her character card, I'm gonna call it, these bits that I've got at the end of each speed draw, her name looks a bit different at the bottom because I thought it would be really cool to have hers look like, it was meant to look like a dog tag, but I think I made it too shiny and it ends up just looking like a name plaque. But I thought it was interesting and it made a nice change because I wanted them to kind of reflect the character a bit similarly to the background. So next is Ghost from Call of Duty. He I went through a phase a little while ago where I was really into drawing him and Soap, and I still really like the Call of Duty games and I like them, but I'm just not as like into it as I used to be. I think mostly because the games, they just like, they never go on sale. They never go cheap enough, so I've kind of just given up on them at this point. Drawing him was tricky. I chose the version of him where he's got his like night goggles on his head because I think it looks kind of silly, but it looks kind of cool as well. But there is so much like little intricate detail gear on this outfit of his that it took me so long to draw, and I was getting very frustrated, I think, because I was getting tired. And I was aware of how long it was taking, that this one almost killed me. And it really contributed to my, I need a break. So I'm glad that I did him like towards the end, because I really struggled with him, especially the colouring bit, as you'll see later when we get to it. He wears a lot of dark stuff, and trying to make it so that it had like actual contrast between the pieces whilst looking detailed and keeping the level of shadow and darkness that it has, it was quite difficult for me. It was a challenge, but I really like how it ends up. He also, as you can see here, he looks kind of smug like the cat.
Corporate needs you to find the differences between this picture and this picture. They're the same picture.
But what the hell was I saying? I got so distracted by that. I made a meme because I got so frustrated. I didn't make a meme, I used a meme, but you know what I mean. I got so frustrated that I got distracted. I let myself get distracted. I don't remember what I was saying, honestly. I end up liking how it turns out. Maybe that's what I was saying. But yeah, it was tricky. It was an interesting exercise. I'm glad it's done. I'm glad I've done it. I'm glad I have the image. But yeah, it was just interesting. The gun, I was surprised. I was expecting it to be a lot harder than it was. It was actually pretty easy once I broke it down into like basic shapes and I got it right. I think I was saying that the drawing took a really long time to do. Like, it took me an hour maybe to get the drawing done, and then the art itself, like the colouring it in, I think took like an extra 2 hours maybe. But it was pretty tricky because I don't actually like draw things with this amount of like darkness whilst still trying to be able to differentiate between each section. So you'll see in this one, and I think the next one as well, I do a lot of like colour changing with the filter option that Sai has, which is honestly a life changer. I don't know what I'd do without it, and I don't know how I used to draw digitally without it, because I only found out about it when my brother was like, by the way, you know you can do that, right? It's just like, it's amazing. So if you have Sai and you don't use it, you should absolutely use it. It's one of the options at the top next to view. It's the filter one, and it just lets you change the colours, the saturation, the darkness, the contrast, you know, all that goodness. And it really helped with this, because as I'm sure you noticed with quite a few things already, they start off a lot lighter than they end up being, because I put down initial flat colours that I then build up on later. Oh yeah, I also managed to lose some footage for this one, which I have no idea how, because I was using OBS and it was recording. I remember it was recording because I clicked pause multiple times on it, and it just lost it. It was just gone. So you didn't miss anything that important. I think it was just the beginning of colouring in his jacket, so like his sleeves and his neck piece, which, I mean, it wasn't that interesting, if I'm being honest. So, I mean, you haven't missed much. It's just using the same methods that I use for colouring anyway. But, yeah, I am still a little annoyed. Oh, my lungs, I think I'm dying. Yeah, so I ended up putting some sparkles on him as well, because I do like Ghost. He is a fun character, and I enjoy drawing him when he turns out okay. So I wanted to give him some sparkles because I did used to really love him. And then for the final one, I am drawing Will from Baldur's Gate. He is another favourite character. Honestly, basically all of the companions in Baldur's Gate are a favourite. There is only one that I just do not like for some reason, like just unprompted, don't like them. I kind of don't want to say who it is because I feel like I'm going to upset some people because they are a favourite. But I'll give you a hint. I haven't drawn them. I've never drawn them. I feel like there are only 2 characters out of the main 6 companions that I haven't drawn now. So you can probably guess. There's a 50-50 chance who it could be. And that's all I'm saying on it. Anyway, Will is such a great character, and I'm really looking forward to romancing him. that will be on my next playthrough, because I am still actually only on my second playthrough of Baldur's Gate, because I've been trying to play it through to the end rather than doing what I want to do, which is like start over 5 separate times. But I keep taking like really huge breaks between actually playing, so this second playthrough has taken me like over a year and I'm still not done, and I think I'm taking a break again from it, so who knows when it will get done. But in my next playthrough I am planning on being a wizard, because the wizards are so overpowered and I don't want to just bring Gale with me again. So yeah, that will be interesting. For Will in this picture, I also started with placing base colours down first, and I think he is the one who suffered the worst from it on his skin tone. It ends up being a lot lighter than I intended it to be, so you'll see later I am just like constantly going back and back to that filter thing, just trying to fix it, and I do end up with it being in a place where I really like how it looks. I do think Will looks the weirdest of the 6 that I've done here. He looks like the shiniest, and I don't know if that's just because of like what I do to his horns, like it just kind of looks shiny and potentially slimy. But he just looks the most different. And I think also as the portraits went on, they started getting smaller, especially compared to Ghostface at the beginning, who was quite big. They start getting smaller and showing off more of their body, which I think is where the issue of they're getting more detailed and taking longer to do came from, because there is just like more of them on show. I struggled with him with trying to make his scars like actually look like scars, because he actually has a lot going on his face once he gets the horns, because he's, you know, he starts off with a lot of scars, and then when he gets like the horns, he also gets like the tiefling ridges like on his cheeks. And I am just now realising that I didn't put the ridges that are on his neck there. That's okay, it's not a big deal. I wonder if anyone even noticed, but I just noticed. But it's not a big deal. It ends up looking okay, and it's not meant to be the most detailed thing, so it's fine. It's not a loss. I do really like how his horns ended up. I was really struggling with them. I thought they looked kind of stupid, but then adding the line art over, or adding the colours over the top of the line art, I think really fixed it, because for most things I don't draw over the line art, I have that be the topmost layer so all the colours are sat beneath it, but every now and then I do some things over the line art, and I think it does just really make things look better, and that is the case for his horns, and I really like how they turned out, even though they look kinda slimy. But for him especially, I struggled with making his clothes actually look like clothes, because his I think it's his flaming fist, is that what they're called? I don't remember. His outfit is the fist stuff. That sounds terrible, but it is, and it's got like lots of different textured materials on it, and that was quite tricky trying to actually make it look textured, especially again since I was struggling with the amount of details. I think it does kind of work in the end, especially because they're all different colours, which really helps. But the guards that I put on his arms, what are they called, like braces, that ended up, for me, surprisingly well. I really like how it ended up looking. For his background, I gave him some fire. I think because I kind of wanted it to be, because of the whole like threat that it's Mizora, isn't it? The threat that she has over him, I just kind of wanted it to be apparent in the background. That is it for the 6 fan arts. As I said, I will be doing another video. It will just probably come later, because I want to actually get the thank you giveaway done, because I want to thank you guys, you know. I want to show you my appreciation for all of your support. It's been crazy. Here you can see I've put them on the template, and they are crossing over a bit, which is kind of what I wanted them to do, but I had to separate them a little bit because I did a bit too much. I put them outside the boxes, perhaps a little bit too much, but that's okay. I still really like how it looks, and it's quite an interesting array of characters. I think it definitely kind of like sums up a little bit of my interests, which again, crazy that you guys are so like tapped into my head with that, so thank you. Yeah, I want to say thank you to everyone who suggested something, because like I said, there were a lot of suggestions and I wish I had the patience and time to do all of them, but I am just going to limit myself to a total of 14, so we'll see when I get the other 8 done. So stick around if you want to see that at some point. But anyway, yes, thank you guys so much for 40k. I love you all so much. You're all amazing. You guys are just the kindest people. So thank you guys. Thank you for watching this video, and if you made it this far, hello. I also want to say a huge thank you to my Patreons who are constantly supporting me and giving me such great advice, especially with these. You guys were so nice each time I kept uploading one to you guys, and you were just being so supportive and like telling me your thoughts on them, and it was just really nice, and it really helped me to just keep going. So thank you guys so much. Dispe, Megan Palmer, Grim Clow, The Waffle of Life, Non-Toxic, Saint Nick's, LP, Kira May, Kay, Annabelle, Joanna, Sir Studalot, Mila, VB, Pretty Rotten, Crescent Frog, Joanna Snake Moon, Humble Frogs, Local Fishkeeper, Moldghoul, Art Mancy, Farrar Ware, Fanarts, Molly Marula, Hannah Anderson, Sammy Bear 127, Kenzania, Jades, Arrow, Charlie, Malorus, Ghosty, Jess H30, Cindy King, Vlada, Art by Lavender, A Woodsy, Rainbow Tea, Breaded Nuggets, Neva Thorpe, Ivy, Lindsay Perkins, Humani, The Mothbug, Knox, Thresher, Catbird House, The Tormented Shadow, Sweet and Hopeless, Pocket, Cool Desert 525, Misfit, Jordan's Tiny Planet, Cheesy Rosebutt, and Charlie O. Thank you guys so much, and I will hopefully have a new video out for all of you soon.